Hey guys, this is my second video, and today I want to talk about my astral projection experiences. For those who don't know, astral projection is basically using your astral body and projecting it to the astral plane. Now, people get that confused with astral traveling, which is what I'll do when we go to sleep, which is dreaming. And I've been astral projecting since I was like around 7 years old. I've been having out of body experiences at such a young age. As to why, I'm not sure. As for more further development, but yeah, let's get started. So I was around 14 years old here, and I got sleep paralysis. I slept like around 1 in the morning. I got sleep paralysis. I heard a loud ringing, which I now know is your pineal gland vibrating, right? So I heard the ringing. I'm like, okay, so this is happening. I was already used to this feeling multiple times. And at this point, I'm like, okay, I can't move. Let's visualize me moving my hand. And as I was visualizing me moving my hand, slowly but surely, my astral hands were starting to appear. Now they look like a transparent blue, yellow. It was the shape of the hand, but it was transparent and blue. And I was moving it, and I saw it clearly. I could see the physical world around me. I just couldn't move the rest of my body, but my hands I could because I visualized it and it appeared. Now the first thing I did was like I put my hand through the wall, and it went through. So I was like freaking out, like no way this is happening, right? So I put my hand through the wall. What it felt like I was vibrating higher than the wall was, and so I was able to face through it. That's what it felt like. If I could describe it in a physical way, I'd have to probably say like putting your hand through melting ice. Like you put your hand through ice, but it was melting, except without the cold feeling, right? That's the best way I could describe it. Now, next thing you know, I start levitating up and higher, and I see my bed, I see my body. I'm like, okay, what's going on here? So I was like, okay, let's try to control where I'm at. Because if I can control all of this, I can control where I'm going. So the next thing I do is like, I'm walking down. Now, it seems to be like I'm in an etheric plane because the whole filter of the reality where I was kind of the grayish blue. But before I left my body, it was normal, like normal color. But after I left, I saw the filter. That's what the filter was. And you hear all sorts of things. I mean, think about it. When people get sleep paralysis, they're always seeing shadow people, demonic things, witches, old people. So it's like no shocker that you'd hear a lot of crazy stuff. Now, luckily, I didn't end up in the lower astrals. And for those who don't know, the lower astrals are kind of like hell looking. You got gory, flesh shitty. You got bars. You got people being tortured. I mean, it's all sorts of madness, right? I mean, I've had experience like that, but that's for another time. And unintentionally, right? So I was walking through my house. I noticed the house is completely empty. And the next thing I know, I see a blob jumping around the house. It had a smiley face. It was blobbing up and then jumped on me. And I just leached it off and it like dissipated. It like disintegrated out of smoke or something. I was like, oh, okay. And after that, I kind of blanked out. And at that point, I was like, okay, so this is real. Astral projection is real. I mean, at this point, it's most definitely real. I'm not just imagining things. And then for my other experience, let's just say, was rather more interesting because at this point, I astral project, and this was like years later, right? But I astral project quite frequently, but I'm just giving you like the more important details. I astral project, I ended up in a forest, and I actually make Bigfoot there. And he was sitting down on a log, on a cut down log, and he was sitting down. And he was just looking at me. And he was speaking to me, but not verbally, it was telepathically. Now, one thing I've noticed about all these beings is they like to speak telepathically right through the mind. And so I was not surprised there. I was trying to communicate with it, but it seemed like it was ignoring me. So I've getting through it. Now I found a log of a house. And when I entered the house, there was a witch in there, and she was like, what are you doing here? Basically, right? The way she looked at me, what are you doing here? Get out of here. And so I just looked at her and then she kind of just pushed me away, like she went like this, and I just went flying back, and then I went back to my body. I was like, oh, okay, so this is what's happening, and I was like, this is very interesting. I'm like, I keep getting these astral projection experiences. Let's see if I can control them. Let's see if I can intentionally do this, right? So over time, I was purposely doing it. I was getting sleep paralysis every time, and sleep paralysis is like the gateway to like astral project, right? Because once you're in sleep paralysis, you can use that as a gateway to astral project. I'm sure all of y'all who have actually astral projected and are experienced with it know that sleep paralysis is one of the steps. Well, it could be one of the steps. You can skip it depending on how advanced you are, but usually it's one of the steps to get out of your body, right? And so I kept intentionally getting sleep paralysis experiences over and over and over again, right? And one of these times, I get sleep paralysis, okay, and I'm like, okay, for some reason, out of all the times, I feel the heaviest here the most. Like, I feel like something's on me. Now, I open my eyes, and behold, a shadow being that looks like Venom, but it was completely shadow, was standing right on top of me, just looking at me. And I'm just like, whoa, what's going on here? And it's like, the first thing that came, for some reason, I'm not sure why, the first thing that came to my mind was like, wow, it looks very cool, instead of being scared. And I feel like for that reason, I didn't show fear. And keep in mind, a lot of these beings like to show fear to you because that's how they feed off of your energies. If you have no fear, they have no power. Always remember that. And because of that, it kind of disappeared. It kind of just floated away and vanished to the ceiling and got out. And so I was like, okay, that's what's going on. So if I could give some tips on astral projection experiences, it's like if you unintentionally or unintentionally have out-of-body experiences, I recommend to have no fear. I mean, that's kind of hard to say because you see all sorts of messed up stuff. You hear all sorts of screams, babies crying. I mean, name it, right? But it really depends on your consciousness level. And so if you're going to have astral projection experiences, I would recommend doing it with a good positive mindset, with intention. Know where you're going to go. Know what you're going to do. And try your best not to be scared. I know that's how crazy that is to say, oh, you're going to see all these crazy monsters looking beings. I mean, this really depends, bluntly speaking. And for those who are saying, oh, it's dangerous, there's nothing dangerous about astral projection. Really, there is nothing. The chances of you leaving your physical body and never coming back are like super like low, if not impossible, basically, right? Because you have a cord. And then that cord, it kind of connects you and your body, right? And so a lot of these experiences, so many people have out-of-body experiences, right? And you hear all these people having their own journeys and experiences and talking about them. And I'm just surprised this has been researched more. Actually, I take that back because I'm pretty sure the Monroe Institute, they still do that. But let me take that back. The CIA had documents about astral projection, about how real it was. Because I think the document called Project Stargate, they talked about remote viewing, astral projection, telekinesis, and people getting on fire and not taking any damage. Right? Weird, right? So this is very real. It's not dangerous. It's not satanic. You know, a lot of religious people are going to say it's satanic. It's completely not, okay? And let's talk about how do you astral project. Well, how do you astral project? Okay. First of all, you gotta actually know and believe that it's real. Because if you're not, it's not going to work. It's really of a mindset technique. Second of all, you gotta have intention. Third of all, it's optional. But if you want a safer and more relaxed experience, just have a good, be positive. And before you sleep, don't have any negative thoughts. Don't watch any scary movies. Don't argue with anybody. Don't be in a depressed mood. And fourth, get relaxed, okay? So you want to get relaxed in the bed. And once you get relaxed in the bed, you're gonna want to lay down, close your eyes, and stay still. Now, you're really gonna want to have the intention that you're gonna leave your body. You really want that intention. It's very important to you to really have intention. And you're gonna lay down and be comfortable. And over time, you're gonna start getting more sleep and sleepy. But make sure to not fully sleep. You gotta go to the half awake, half asleep. That's a sleep paralysis state, right? So as you get more sleepy, you want to visualize. You can visualize many things. You can visualize pulling a rope technique. I'm sure a lot of y'all heard of it. Walking around your house, like all visualization. Or you can have a ball with you, squeeze it physically, right, before you do it, and then drop it, and then start visualizing it. What this does is basically keeping your mind awake while your body sleeps. And once you reach the sleep paralysis state, you're going to hear all sorts of stuff, like I already said, right? You're not going to be able to move. You're not going to be able to do much, but as you it's kind of like exercise. As you do it more, you're going to start getting more used to that feeling of sleep paralysis. Now, you might hear loud ringing, you might hear voices, you might hear scratches, you might hear knocks, you might hear waves. It just really depends on your consciousness or just where you're at, right? And so if you manage to get out your body and slip out, then congrats, you did it. You managed to be conscious enough and have much energy to get out your body and do it. Now, there's the Akashic records. People, secret societies like to astral project and have meetings there, believe it or not. I mean, it's crazy, right? I mean, people can meet there. I mean, you can manifest a lot of stuff up in there. I mean, you can visit other planets. You can go to space. You can go through other parallel realities. I mean, it's beyond your imagination, right? It's a whole reality warping technique. And it's very fun a lot of times. And you want to evolve yourself spiritually. I definitely recommend learning this technique, because it teaches you a lot more than books do. And because of that reason, it could really help you. And so, yeah, that's what I want to talk about, my astral projection experiences and how to do it, a little bit tips and techniques. And yeah, there's a lot of odd things out there. So thank you for watching, and peace out.